Good afternoon, good afternoon. How is your business doing nowadays in this changing and challenging world? Today, I have somebody really remarkable who predicted the future. And I love the fact that my amazing guest today, Janice B Gordon, who is actually a consultant, a speaker, a trainer, and an author, listen to this, of absolutely amazing book, Business Evolution, Creating Growth in a Rapidly Changing World. Chinese, do you realize you actually predicted the future that we will need you and your expertise in these days?
Do you know what? I wrote the book in 2014, but I had a business and I'd gone through the worst of the recession, and so I kind of understood that. And I'm of an age where I've been through a few recessions and business economic challenges, so I could see that this was perhaps going to happen more. So I wanted to talk about my experience of going through that and what I learned. And it's absolutely relevant now. So I'm really happy to be talking to you today.
And I'm so happy you're in my studio today because I was dying to have you here, and you are, and I'm so grateful. So thank you so much today for joining me and bringing your valuable knowledge and expertise. I'm so grateful. Thank you. And before we move on, Janice, would you like to share where are you based? Because our dear listeners, they obviously have no idea where you are, because I can see we already have people joining us from Brazil, from Turkey, and I would love to know people who else is joining us from somewhere else. But Janice, where are you based right now?
Well, I've got London in the background. This is the Thames and a bridge going over the Thames and a little boat. So I'm based in London. I'm in East London near Stratford, which is the Olympic city. So that's my location.
So I bet it was really busy during the Olympic championship in the Olympics, right?
Yeah. I kind of almost put us on the map, really. We were this kind of backwater, and now this is the place to live. So it's changed quite a lot. And we've got this fantastic shopping centre and lots of businesses and workshops that's moving in. So it's become a real kind of ecosystem in itself. They call it Stratford City now.
I like it. So everybody who hasn't been in London yet, you definitely need to go all the way to the area where Janice is, and maybe you will meet Janice somewhere in a coffee shop, walking, ask her questions.
Yeah, hit me up and we'll have a coffee.
Exactly. Oh, exciting. So far, Janice, we're actually going international. Would you believe it? We have people from Pakistan, Istanbul, Turkey, Kenya, Saudi Arabia. We are going with you international. So your knowledge and expertise today will be so valuable because businesses are across the world, and nowadays we actually experience something dramatic, something really scary, something what nobody knew will come. But Janice, I know you were dying to share your experience after obviously overcoming so many recessions in your lifetime, because you're 21, of course. So would you mind to share maybe your main takeaways or your main points? Why do you think businesses should always kind of do their best to evolve, to transform, to still being able to survive any crisis which they face?
I think the worst thing you can do, whether we're in a recession or not, is actually stand still. And actually, by not continually to evolve and having your feelers out as to what's going on, what does my customer want, what's changing, unless you're open that your business that you started, say, 5-10 years ago will not look the same. If it does, then you're in trouble, because things are moving so fast. I mean, look, within the last 4 months, how much things have changed. The technology has already been there. 10 years ago, they were predicting that we would be using the technology that wasn't available at that time, but is available now. And COVID, the pandemic, has forced us down that line. So we've had to adapt and change. But this is something that would have happened anyway. It would have just happened at our slow pace. But now businesses really have to adapt and change to where their customers are.
I love that. I love the fact you say it would happen anyways. And this is so true. It's like when people change jobs, you would change them anyways, but when you made redundant, you do it quicker, right? Or when there's a trouble at work, you do it quicker. So we do naturally evolve all the time. But when crisis hits, that's when actually people start thinking, right, what is next? And I love the fact how much we evolved as businesses, as entrepreneurs in the last few months. But what would you say is the biggest thing what businesses should avoid in addition to staying still? So not staying still, I got it already. But what else do you think businesses should avoid in terms of when times are great, there's no crisis, nothing is dangerous around, what they should avoid doing?
Avoid thinking about yourself. I think businesses, because we put so much into our businesses and so much into our work, then we're the center of the universe. And it's really hard to take us out of that. So whether we're in a challenging situation or not, it's not about you. No one's interested in you. All of your marketing copy and all of the kind of about stuff we do, no one cares. Your customer only cares about what you can do for them. So unless you're really close to your customers, and when was the last time you had a conversation with your favorite customer? And that means it's really easy to have these kind of conversations. Do you ask, what more can I do for you? And especially now, this has got to be your focus. All of the stuff we used to do, I talk a lot about sales, and that is the real engine of all businesses and how you grow. But it's the way that you do it. And you have to do it through your customers. And you can only do it through your customers if you absolutely understand them. How do you absolutely understand them? You're really close to your key customers, your top customers that bring in more of your revenue. How do you remain close? Talk to them. Pick up the phone, really have that close relationship with them. You've got to think of them as absolutely critical to your growth and not think about, I have a solution for my customer. Actually, I have a customer that I have a close relationship with, and I will design products and services to help them to grow their business. It's all about them. So what you should not do is have a focus on your own business and your solutions and what you should do. What you should have a focus on your customers and being really close to them and really understanding what their needs are. This is how you survive whatever the economic situation is.
Well, Janice, I can just tell one thing. I can see why you're so fabulous speaker, because right now you said something very, very valuable. Not only as a business person, you should always think about your customer, but I can see how you became so successful as a speaker, because I'm sure you're going to apply the same rule to the audience as well, is it? What is there for the audience, right?
Absolutely. And the way I do that is using social channels. I contact the people in the audience prior to, I incentivize them to do that. And so they begin to know what I'm like and research me, and I can research them. As soon as they connect with me and say, hey, I'm going to be there. So I start to understand what the audience and adapt my content to the audience. And even in my presentations, I kind of hit up on, I spoke to this person or I looked at this company. So they think, oh, she's talking about me, or she's talking about my company. You've got to make it relevant to your audience, who are your customers.
Oh, I love it. This is so hot, because when we relate, whether you're an audience or you're a customer, but also every person in the audience is your potential customer for your next speaking gig, for your whatever program you have, whatever you do as a youth consultant, you're the trainer. So every participant at the event, that could be your potential client. So if you don't relate to them, how can you sell to them? And the same in the business. If you don't relate problems and issues which you can solve for your customers, how they can contact you? Why would they contact you?
Absolutely.
Love that. You just nailed it. I absolutely love that. I like the comment from Aksan Raza here on LinkedIn. And those who cannot see it because it's on LinkedIn, yourself have read the mind of our customers. You really are a mind reader. You really are, actually. That's wonderful. But what actually made you think that we need a book about that? What made you write a book about it? Because what you say is really valuable, and I completely agree with you. But it takes a lot of time to sit down and write a book about this and believe it's going to be sellable. So what made you think to write this book, and why people should read this book?
Well, I have, I think about 400 or 500 blogs out there. And so I was writing on a weekly basis. And I approached someone and said, do I have enough for a book in there? And they said, you have enough for about 10 books, Janice. Now we need to kind of get the structure together. And I had just come off running a business, 20 employees, and, kind of had various landlord challenges, not customer challenges with that. And so I was talking to many businesses and going out speaking before I became a professional speaker, and helping them to move their business forward. And there were certain themes that were coming out. And this is how I created the Essential 4Ps, which is your personality, your purpose, pleasure. This is how you talk to your customers and understand what their needs are, and purpose, something that companies often, not purpose, sorry, process, something that companies often forget. So that's personality, putting your personality into your business, what you do, your authenticity, what's unique and different about you, your values, showing them. So it doesn't matter if you're running a business or you're working in a business. It's people connect with you first, and then perhaps the solution, and then perhaps the company. So you've really got to start to show your personality, what's unique and different about you. This is why, and I don't really like this word, personal branding. Like, we're not branded, we're not cows, but personal business personality is what I talk about in the book Business Evolution. And then your purpose, you talk a lot about this. I've seen you online about really being clear about what your purpose in the world is. And again, it doesn't matter if you're working for a company, you've got to be clear on those things as well, so it's easy for you to say no. I teach people how to say no, and particularly women. And I'm going to share this with you now, Olga.
Please, yes, please.
No. You've got nowhere to go when you say it in that way. Like, people are always trying to push you. But if you say no assertively with a smile on your face, it's like there's a bit of a disconnect there. It's like, she said no, but she's smiling at me. No one's offended by it. So, I want all your guests to practice this, because I do share this with a lot of people, and I wanted to share it with your audience. It's easy for you to say no if you're really clear of why you're here, what you're here to do in this world. And this is why your purpose is really important. And I'll just quickly go through the other aspects of the Essential 4P. So pleasure is about giving your customer pleasure. So it's a lot of what I talked about before. I worked with a customer experience company, and I was amazed. Your customers are your best inventors and creators, but we don't really tap into that because we don't really talk to them. So pleasure is about understanding the language of your customer and what their needs are, and then process. You've seen this, I'm sure you have. We bring customers to our door. We attract them with all this marketing, and then they can't check out online. The language isn't correct. We put up all of these barriers. So we make it really difficult for our customers to do business. If it's not easy, and not from your perspective, from their perspective, ease and simplicity has become more important. This is your key differentiator. Is it easy? Is it really simple for your customers? This is why process is really important. So I do hope your listeners get the book, because there's lots of exercises in there so they can work through what are their core values, how to understand the customers, to really think about, and it breaks it all down for them. So at the end, they can have their own kind of roadmap that suits their customers in their business. And that's what makes them uniquely different.
I love that. I love the fact in the book you have actually exercises to work on that. That is really good. But I wonder, Janice, was Amazon your customer by any chance? Because they have this one click.
Well, Amazon's changed a lot of things for a lot of businesses, because it's changed the customer's behavior, because it's changed the customer's expectation. So that started in the B2C world. But in B2B, I mean, they're lagging behind, but they're having to catch up, because even in business to business, their customers, their individuals, their people, in their own world, life, they experience the one-click, easy, simple processes. They don't then want to go into the business world and have all of those difficulties and barriers. So business to business have really got to catch up fast and start to use a lot of the methodology that companies like Amazon, eBay, all of these click and collect really simple processes. You've got to think about, how can I adopt that in my own business?
That's true, because as a customer, you don't want complexity. What you want is ease and effortless communication, effortless checkout, effortless delivery with no issues at all. It's like the other day, I'll give you a little example. I bought a double sun louch for my garden, hoping it was going to be sunny. It's not. But I was hoping so.
It will be at the end of the week, Olga. Don't worry. Just wait.
Okay. Yeah, I'll wait. I'll be patient. There was an instruction. And when I looked at the instruction, I was like, holy moly, who did this instruction, right? It's hard to understand. It's hard to understand how many skills you need to have, and I was really struggled to get it. So it took us a while to actually put it together. And I was just thinking how easy it would be just to have step-by-step guidance, adjust this part to that part, step 1, step 2, these 2 parts to next part. And this is what I mean about making it easier rather harder. So would I buy again from them? Probably not. Because guess what? It's difficult. It's difficult to put it together. The instruction is not clear. And it's just only one example of how sometimes we face challenges as a customer at various ways. Like when we hit this crisis, online shopping literally froze forever. Grocery online shopping. There were delays. You couldn't get a slot. And it just shows how sometimes unprepared companies can be, especially with online shopping, isn't it?
It's true. Online shopping has become almost like the bread and butter of lots of businesses. And so those that had the e-commerce, they were taken unawares by COVID. All of us were. So it took them a while to catch up and to remove a lot of the barriers in their supply chain so that they could offer the customer consistent, reliable service. But now they've gone through that pain. This is now available to customers. The capacity of e-commerce has grown so much more. And the customers that have had to do it for the first time, they've now learned that this is easy. Why didn't I do this before? So they've won over a lot of customers into the online space. And now they know that it's really easy to do their online shopping. They're probably looking to do online in other things. No one wants to leave their house and, have to go through all the traffic to pick up one thing when they can do it online. So it really has upskilled quite a lot of people, but it means that businesses have to upskill as well, because customers now expect this to be one of the options.
Yeah, that is so true. And especially, I think where right now companies are struggling with is because of COVID-19, we have delays even with customer service. And this really surprised me, Janice, because how can we now do this to customers of every business, make them wait 2 times longer, 3 times longer, considering people need help urgently, right? Like, for example, water services, internet services, all these like home supplying, whatever businesses there are, they need, I think, to excel in terms of maybe double their staff, but somehow to serve their customers. Because what happens when you don't satisfy your customer? They leave. They just simply leave somewhere else.
Well, do you know what? During the initial phase of COVID, and for some companies, it kind of went on a little bit too long. We all understood that we were all taken unaware. So we all had so much more patience. But you're absolutely right. The mistake a lot of companies made is they reduced the services on customer service, and they should have increased the service in customer service. They really made a big mistake there. And one example was that I ordered, like lots of people, and I just did this before COVID, the shutdown. I ordered online plants from a company that I knew about, and I maybe 10 years ago ordered before. But because they're entirely online, my expectation was that they'll do a good job. It wasn't a new company coming into the e-commerce space. And they said on their website, it's 2 weeks. That's my expectation because you told me that. I would expect once we went into COVID-19, they were overrun. Perhaps I'd add another week onto that. The problem was they didn't contact me. They on their website 6 weeks later, they still said 2 weeks.
No.
And they emailed me. They didn't answer any of my questions like, hey, when am I going to get this?
Wow.
What they did is they sent an email saying that because of the unprecedented demand, we're moving all of our customer service to fulfill your orders. It's like, no, don't do that.
What?
Tell me when I'm going to get it first. Just answer the flipping questions. Do not do that. Will I order from this company again in peacetime?
Yeah.
No, I won't, because they did such a bad job of informing the customers. All they needed to do was put on the website, even if they didn't answer put on the website, what is the anticipated delivery time, and constantly update us with mass emails going out as to what's happening. Even if they weren't putting more into their customer service, it's actually thinking about it from the customer's perspective. I had reserved a weekend to plant out all of these pots. Then I moved it to another weekend. Then I kept moving on, and then they started to pee me off. For that reason, I wouldn't work with them again. Yeah. So your product may be brilliant, but unless your customer's experience is equally brilliant, that's the reason why they won't go back to a brilliant product. So you've really got to think about this, where you're putting your resources to make sure that the customer has the best experience possible, given the circumstances.
I agree with you. And I think a lot about the standard of serving the customer starts with what business are we in right now? Are we actually at the high value? Are we actually aiming at being Ferrari business? Or are we actually wanting to be some cheaper business which people don't even care? Because again, people are always willing to pay more, right? People willing to pay more for what they receive. But when you don't actually deliver, some people stop respecting you and stop remembering about you. If anything, the bad reputation will just go around quicker than any good reputation and good feedback. And this is quite a dangerous place to be. When you really dissatisfy your customer, it is quite a dangerous game. It really is.
Yeah. And it's interesting you should talk about what business you're in. In the book, I do this whole section about what business you're in, because what business we're in is not the business we're actually in. One of looking at it from our perspective, but the other thing is actually looking at what we do that no one else can do in the way we do it. So if you imagine your in your promotion on your website, you might be like a massage therapist. And you'll talk about what you do for your customer. But actually, what do you do? What you do is you relieve pain. That's what you do. And what is the point the customer's more likely to approach you is when they're in pain. Because I always think I should go for my monthly massage, and we put it off and we put it off. But the minute I cannot get out of bed, the minute I have something I cannot work through, who am I going to call? I'm going to call an expert. Yes. And that's when most businesses win new customers at the point of pain. So it's really understanding what is the point of pain when you win most of your customers. What is that trigger point? And that's the business you're in, because that's the business when you win more customers. There may be a different trigger point for your existing customers. What reminds them to come back? What is the daily maintenance? What is that trigger point? So in the business you're in isn't the business of what you deliver. The business you're in is the message of the relieving that particular pain at that particular point. And it's really important to understand that's the business you're in, because that's how you not only win new customers, but you maintain the relationship with your existing customers by actually looking at that particular pain point.
I love that. And what you refer to is actually the language of customer. How do they call what we do for them? Because very often we say, oh, I'm an accountant, I'm a plumber, I'm an electrician. Really? But it's not what actually you deliver to your customer. And as you said, if you just speak in terms of what have you delivered, what have you done for your customer, then people can relate. Otherwise, just saying you're a plumber, you're an accountant, it's only good for a company house when you register your business. It's not doing anything good for your customer, because you don't really tell why they should come to you. But you relieve the pain that sells to me, because whenever I'm in pain, guess what I'm going? To them. Simple as that. But I love the comment here from Mehmet. He says, Miss Gordon speaks very excited. It's a sign she loves her job. Respect.
Thank you.
I can say you really do, Janice, and I can say that you will be definitely the top person to go to when it comes to excelling the business and definitely making changes in a business in the hard times. But what about good times? Do you think you could bring some value to businesses in good times when actually they are not suffering from crisis, nothing dramatic is happening in the world, and everything is hunky-dory? Do you think you could bring some value to businesses which are already flourishing?
Yes, of course, because there are certain things that you may do in crisis in the way that you kind of either reducing your costs and focusing on what's really important, getting close to your customer, all of that. But actually, why would that make a difference being in crisis to actually do those things really? It may be that you're looking at your processes. How can we simplify them? How can we make them easier? How can we make our messaging better? These are the things you have to do on an ongoing basis. Because remember what I said at the top, if you're standing still, you're actually going backwards. You've constantly got to be adapting and changing and refocusing on, because your customers are moving. They're way ahead of us. They are gone, and so we're constantly scrabbling to keep up. And the way that you do that is focusing on what you can do that no one else can do in the way that you do it for your unique group of customers, and understanding what their needs are. And their needs are constantly changing. So we have to keep up with them. We have to stay close. We have to have those conversations. We have to make sure that our processes are aligned to where our customers are and what their needs are. So I would help companies to look at their systems and their processes, their messaging. I'd help companies to identify who are their key customers, because we can't do everything for everybody, and we can't deliver the same service to all our groups of customers. So we really need to understand those that give us the best return on our investment in them, so we can invest more to get a higher margin and so forth. Many companies that I go in that are doing really well, you can accelerate your growth, and I mean really accelerate your growth, by focusing on who your key customers are. So I often go in good times and help them to identify who are their key customers, how we can increase the depth and breadth of relationship with that company, that particular company. What is our messaging? How do we go about it? And I talk a lot about digital and social selling. What are the mechanisms that are available to us in order to deepen the relationships? How can we do better social listening to understand what our customers' needs are? So in good times, there's so much that can be done. And I help companies to make sure they not only survive this, but they thrive into the future, but more importantly, they future-proof their operations. And sales is the core to all operations, and customers is absolutely core to all businesses.
I love that. I absolutely love that. And the fact that you actually can help businesses in a crisis, but also in the good times, is just great, because some people are not capable to actually go in times when actually it's like really heated situation, and when they have to think on the spot. And the fact you can do makes you really unique, Janice. I absolutely admire you for that. So really proud of you, honestly. But I love the comment here from Brick on LinkedIn as well. He says, in times of hunky-dory, you can take the customer delight to a new level. That's what Janice is talking about. Exactly. Keep evolving as the speed of change is on the increase. How true is that? That's exactly, Janice, what you are saying. Very, very valuable. Yes, thank you so much for this. And Janice, because I know you are also doing the trainings, is there anything specific people can find about your trainings? Do they have to go somewhere? Is there anything they can actually get from you apart of buying a book at the minute?
Yes, well, on my website, Janice B Gordon, if you put in "make my sales system," at the moment until the end of August, I'm offering a free consultation to actually talk through what is your sales system and how customer focused that is, and the things that you can do. And then it might lead on. It's entirely up to you to actually helping you do that. I'm just revising my online courses, which are the first two kind of key P's of business evolution, and that is your purpose and your personality. So I'm revising those. So if you connect with me, Janice B Gordon, whether it's LinkedIn or Instagram or Twitter, it's Janice B Gordon. Then I will announce when I'm relaunching that, which should be within the next few weeks. There's people that have been through those courses, but I wanted to make sure that it's relevant for now, that I update it and have the right kind of technology, which is why I withdrew it. So that will be coming up. But please, do contact me. There's loads of places in the world I still want to go and speak at. So if you've got a sales event or a business growth event, then you please do contact me and let's have a conversation.
I love the fact how actually you also advanced your courses in these times. You just put them on the website, think, okay, there's going to be for any time. But because of these unprecedented times, you decide, you know what, I need to modify them. So you actually are walking your talk. I love that.
And I've talked to lots of companies about doing this. I got this from Patricia Fripp, who's an absolute star in sales presentation. We know her through the Professional Speaking Association. And she said she spent 5 hours going through her YouTube channel looking at, is the message relevant to now? And that really got me thinking. And I was doing it anyway, but actually talking to other businesses about doing that, going through all of your marketing collateral. Because, I did a bit of a rant. You may have seen this. And those pictures of people in cars, they're kind of posting, I don't know whether that came over from America, where they're posting, quick pictures and videos in cars. I'm on my way somewhere. And I think it used to portray, I'm really successful, I'm so busy and all of that stuff. Okay. In COVID-19, with the pandemic, and we're all on lockdown and we're not traveling, and the traffic on the roads isn't there, it's just thinking, how appropriate is that now? How relevant is that now? I mean, maybe you're in your car going somewhere, but it's unlikely you're going to visit a client in your car. We're doing everything online. So it's actually taking that material and not using it because it's not appropriate and it doesn't make you relevant. It makes you irrelevant. It's simple little things like that that we really need to think about. What message are we putting out there now?
I love that. So take some stuff from your business, put it on the shelf, technically, and then implement new stuff and start using them in your business in order to help your clients to make business faster, quicker, to be serviced, clients to be serviced by you and everything else. I love that. So everybody else who is in the business and you want to take your business to the next level, you want to excel not only during these really challenging times, but also in a hunky-dory times, as we call them, you definitely need to contact Janice because she's the person to speak to. And if you're really serious about working on yourself and making sure you are a great businessman or businesswoman, I think your book, Janice, is the book to buy. Considering you also have exercise in there, which are all about finding what your values, what your business is all about. I think this is so, so valuable. So thank you so much for this. It's really, really exciting. And I love this comment from Oksana. He says, yes, we can retain exciting customers, the keyword exciting, and attract new as well in times of crisis. And this is so true. But you see, Oksana, just like Janice was saying, it's about how do you deal with your customers? How do you satisfy them? How do you deliver to them? How do you sell to them to make sure they are excited? Because that's a key word. Wow, wonderful. Well, Janice, I would love...
Can I just offer one extra thing in this? What's relevant now is focusing on your existing customers, because we spend a lot of time and energy trying to bring in new customers and the old ones are going out the door because they're not serviced really well. The best thing you can do is focus on your existing customers, because when I go and work with companies, they don't realize they're probably leaving 50% on the table by not doing the best job possible. And in challenging times like this is where the gold is. So, we can do, there's so many things that need doing. I've got a list as long as my arm. If you just focus on your existing customers and really offer them the best value now, then you're going to maintain and grow those customers into the future. And it will be a better return in investment for you, your business, your sales funnel, than actually spending all of this marketing on trying to attract new customers that take a long time before they're returning in value. So that's my big tip for people now.
I love that. So technically, make sure you do focus on your existing customers. And to be true, it's always easier to sell and upsell to your existing or previous customer than to actually get a new one, because you don't have to prove yourself all the time. You don't have to sell yourself and your product or service to the customer, because they already know who you are. They already know your quality. Well, supposedly still keep your quality high, right? Not like the shop which you bought from, those plants, right? So if you keep your whole quality at the high level, your customer is great, you still are at the same great level, then obviously it's much easier to upsell to your existing customer rather to get a new one. And also, it is less expensive because you have to pay for marketing to get new customer, but for the old one, they're already there. They're already there. It's a matter of either sending an email or making a phone call, right? How powerful is that? Well, Janice, thank you so very much for coming up today. I'm so grateful for your session that actually you brought so much value about business growth, about how businesses can accelerate right now and what is important to pay attention to. And I think the biggest takeaway is what not to do during these times. And that was really, really valuable. Is there anything else you would like to share with our audience before we finish off? And I'll let you go because I know how busy you are.
Well, I hope your audiences enjoyed it, and I'm hoping that they will contact me on social media. Let me know that they listen to this. Then, I'm happy to have a conversation with any people that's listened to this online. So, yeah. Please do contact me and connect with me. You'll see I post lots of content. I have Scale Your Sales podcast. So I've got so much free content for people to help them grow their business. But if they want something specifically or want a speaker to speak to their audience, then please do connect with me. I've loved it, Olga. I always love seeing what you're doing online, which is absolutely brilliant. You give everyone a really good kind of boost. You certainly know your stuff, but I just adore your personality. So thank you for the opportunity to speak to your audience.
Oh, thank you so much, Janice. It's so sweet to hear that from you. Thank you. It really means a lot to me as well. But thank you so very much. The audience was really busy actually participating and sending comments, as you could see, and also sharing where they're from, because we really went international with you. Your message was heard around the globe today, which is really, really amazing and really great, because I think right now businesses and business owners need a lot of support. So what you shared today was really, really valuable. So everybody, please, let's connect with Janice, and I will share the link below the video to your website, to your social media, and also to your book. And whenever, Janice, you have the book, the course updated, please do let me know so I can update it under the video. And also, if you will go to Janice's website, I'm sure you're going to be able to subscribe and receive update when Janice released her exciting course, and you can learn from that and increase sales in your business, improve your business. And I think what's the most important thing about the growth, not only the business, Janice, I think it's you as a business owner. Because when you grow, then your business grows with you. So journey with Janice, definitely listen to her podcast, which also, if you may send me the link, I will also share it below the video so people can find out about that. And then let's make sure we all grow our businesses to make sure our customers are happy and satisfied. So thank you so much, everybody who was watching us today across Facebook. We actually had quite a lot of people on Facebook today, LinkedIn, and also YouTube. And Janice, once more, thank you so very much for you joining me today, bringing your smile, your amazing energy, and your wisdom.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Take care then.